Hi, today I want to talk about the source document, which is used in the general ledger. And I want to talk about where it's created, why it's created the way it's created, and what it can do for you. Right now I'm under Administration and Setup and Posting, and we're going to then click on Source Document. And these are where source documents are created. So you can see all the different source documents that come out of the box from GP. For example, let's look at GJ. When you make a general ledger transaction entry, it defaults to GJ, which is General Journal. There's also SJ, and SJ is for the receivable sales transaction or a sales entry that comes into the general ledger. So these are all of the different transactions that can come in from all kinds of sources into the general ledger or originate in the general ledger. Now that we have these source documents, let's look at where the system decides which to use. Underneath source documents is audit trail codes, and here's where we line up the particular kind of transaction with the source document. So for example, let's change this and look at sales transaction entry. A sales transaction entry is going to use the source document SJ for sales journal. It also is going to create an audit trail number, and it'll just increment this number. This is actually a number, 258, and it's going to put the prefix before it, SLSTE, for sales transaction entry. And these are all predefined and they can be edited. You'll also notice at this point, this is where we can decide whether or not these kinds of posting journals can be reprinted. So we want to have everyone marked that we can. So now that we see our next sales transaction entry is going to use the audit trail number 258 and source document of SJ, let's take a look at this in action. So let's go to our sales series, and under transactions we'll go to sales transaction entry, and I'm going to pull up an invoice that I could post. I'm going to take it out of the batch, and let's go ahead and post it. Now when we post it, I want to print a couple of these reports to the screen. That's enough for now. The first report is actually the posting journal. And remember, the next audit trail was 258, and here's the number right here. So you could see SLSTE, sales transaction entry, and the number is 258. And it'll actually keep track of this audit trail with this transaction as it goes along. And as we look at the general ledger breakdown, you can see it also uses the same audit trail code, SLSTE 258. So let's close that out. Let's skip to the general ledger for a moment, and let's look at the last journal entry created, which was the one we just posted. Notice it put it in a batch, SLSTE 258. That makes it nice and convenient. And it used the sales source document of SJ. So you can see how this all works for us. So let's go ahead and post this batch. One other thing I want to show you about the audit trail code, if we jump back to the sales series for a moment, under reports, we have posting journals where we could reprint posting journals. And we'll go to the sales posting journal, and you'll notice that we can scroll down and find the audit trail code 258. This would be the journal entry that we just posted. Again, this is where we can use our audit trail codes. Let's also go into Smartlist. And under Smartlist, we can go to Financial Series, Account Transactions, and we can add the column Source Document. Okay, now that we've added Source Document to it, you can see the different source documents that occur. So what we can do here is then narrow down, look at source documents that are equal to SJ, and we'll click OK. And now we can see all our SJ transactions. Okay. So if we double click on that, we can see our batch ID of 258. This was our source journal, and it takes us back to the transaction we looked at. So that's how some of the different source documents can work for you, and how the audit trails can work for you. Keep in mind when you close out the year in the general ledger, it will use the source document of BBF or in PL, depending on whether it is a balance sheet where the balance is rolled forward for BBF, balance brought forward, or PL for a P&L account that closes out to retained earnings. I hope this little bit of information helps you be able to manage your information better and do research on it better in Smartlist.